shoe bomber and British Taliban fighters currently held in Cuba. At the center of the controversy is Abu Hamza, vocal supporter of Osama bin Laden.
When another plane goes down now, is it a local beat or an SOS net?
But it's the way he was able to take over the mosque and impose his own hardline views that has given most cause for concern amongst other Muslims.
The idea is to slow down and make the sky very high risk for anybody who flies.
This sort of approach is very enormously damaging to the reputation of Islam and Muslim community in UK. I mean, they are using Islam as a tool. They have hijacked the holy verses for their own political agenda.
Abu Hamza's political activities also reveal a flawed system where one man can forcibly take control of a mosque at the expense of the regular worshippers. Mufti Barkatullah is a trustee of the mosque. Officially, he's supposed to oversee what goes on there, but he's actually too scared to go inside.
I'm completely powerless because I fear when I go that someone will intimidate me or someone will challenge me and put me in an awkward position, and without any provocation they will abuse me verbally and sometimes physically if they can.
When Finsbury Park Mosque opened in 1985, it was the pride of the community, supported by Prince Charles and nearly £1 million from the Saudi royal family. But within 5 years, the mosque was in trouble. Civil war had broken out on the committee, so strange as it now seems, the charismatic Abu Hamza was invited to sort things out.
He came as a go-between, but he gradually elevated himself to the Lord and King of the mosque.
It wasn't long before Hamza was using his influence to promote a holy war on the West.
Allah guarantees that He will admit the Mujahid in his cause into paradise, if he is killed.
Alarmed, the trustees, as guarantors of the mosque's integrity, tried to challenge the way Hamza was running things with a court injunction. It only made things worse.
At that point, Abu Hamza became extremely violent. As a result of injunction, I tried to take the regular imam to install him in Friday. We were all bundled out of the mosque by force.
The trustees can't afford to go back to court, so they're stuck with the status quo. It's unclear who's legally in charge here, but in reality, Abu Hamza controls the mosque.
I mean, since that time, he has been, behaving differently. He's sometimes threatening the trust, holding them as a hostage, sometimes being very conciliatory.
With no outside religious body able to impose order, the mosque has fallen into disrepair, a far cry from its lavish beginnings.
The building is running down as a derelict, and the level of services and the facilities are going down, and it's smelly and filthy mosque really.
On an autumn evening 4 years ago, the family's 7-year-old daughter returned home from her daily lesson learning the Quran at the local mosque.
When my daughter came home from the mosque, she went straight upstairs, washing her hands and crying. She wouldn't eat and she was just constantly washing her hand. She said, "Mummy, I need to tell you something." And I said, "Just be quiet, I'm watching TV." And then she told me. She was upset and crying. And my mind just went.
During that day's busy lesson, the religious teacher, Imam Ahmed Hallalat, had forced her to masturbate him.
I never believed priests could be like this, or be bad people. I spoke to my husband and said, "Look, this is what my daughters are saying." And he said, "No, it's not, it couldn't be right." We just sat on the bed all night. We just didn't know what to do. We couldn't sleep, just talking it through. We kept asking ourselves, what's happening to us? Why did this happen to us?
Later that day, certain their daughter couldn't be making her story up, they reported Ahmed Hallalat to the police. Lancashire police started an investigation. After interviewing other parents and children, Ahmed Hallalat was charged with 3 counts of indecent assault, including an assault on another child. He denied the allegations. But it wasn't the first time Hallalat had been in trouble with his congregation. In 1992, he was accused of abusing a child at a mosque in London. When the family decided not to press charges, Hallalat moved on to Preston. Subsequent employers at the Kent Street Mosque were probably not aware of his past. As the Preston investigation continued, the parents began to get visits from people associated with the mosque. They said the case would bring shame on the mosque and the local community.
They actually came to our house and they would take off their hats, put it at my feet and say, "Don't take it any further, he'll get a bad name. The mosque will get a bad name." But I said, no way. After what he did, they expect us to keep quiet.
The regular visitors began to offer money, holidays to Pakistan and other inducements to leave Preston. When they refused, the bribes turned to threats.
When we used to walk along the streets, they would look at us as if we were the ones that did wrong, as if we're dirty or something, but we didn't do anything wrong. People spat at us when we went out. People spat at my daughter when she went to the shops.
At the Crown Court, Hallalat was supported by the committee that appointed him at the Kent Street Mosque, whilst the family found themselves more and more isolated. Ahmed Hallalat pleaded not guilty. 2 of the charges could not be proven due to lack of forensic evidence, but on the 3rd offence, traces of Hallalat's semen had been found on the carpet in the mosque classroom. This was enough to convict him on one of 3 counts of indecent assault. He received a 6-month sentence and was placed on the sex offenders register. 4 years on, the family is still finding life in their hometown difficult.